all at the same time. That'd be kind of nice to see us all and welcome. Go. Hi, everybody. I am Reverend Mark and welcome to our Sunday morning service today. So happy to be with you. I want to begin by letting you know that we made a last-minute decision tonight that we were all going to stay in our homes for many reasons, but mostly for the respect of all those who are suffering from this illness and from those who are at risk. The direction is to not go out if we don't have to. And we don't have to. We can be with you from our homes. So we have a wonderful service planned for you from my home, from Amy and Jesse's home, our amazing musicians joining us today to support us as Lisa Grenlow, who is a longtime Unity member, has been on the board in the leadership in many, many ways. She'll be supporting us today. And of course, big gratitude to our Unity staff who continues to work so hard behind the scenes, bringing us together in this way. So your job is to have your coffee with me, to sit back, relax, please breathe in all of the spiritual support that is here for you today. We are holding you in the highest of prayers, and being together today is lifting all of us up higher than any one of us could go. So welcome to Unity Naples Sunday morning service, and welcome, Lisa.
Good morning, everyone. Such a pleasure to be joining you from our homes this morning. And we are so grateful to be able to do this with today's technology to offer you this specially prepared service for your care and well-being. We love being with you this morning. Let's begin, as we always do, with music presented by the amazing Jesse and Amy Hughes.
Pour yourself in me, pour yourself into my heart. Oh, in me, pour yourself into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit, pour your joy in me, pour your joy into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, pour your love in me, pour your love into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, pour yourself in me, pour yourself into my heart. Whoa, wonderful Spirit. Whoa, wonderful Spirit.
Want to do another one?
Hey, Mark.
Back to Lisa.
Wonderful. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for that. It's so comforting to hear those songs that we're all so familiar with. In care for the community, we will not be hosting any in-person gatherings until it is undeniably safe to do so. So we'll be keeping you posted on that. All current classes, Prosperity Now, Artist Way, Wednesday book study with Eileen are now happening online. You should have already received an email with instructions for your class, but if you haven't, please email hello@unitynaples.org. In service to keeping us connected during this time, we've created an abundance of virtual opportunities. to help us be together in the upcoming weeks. All of this will be listed with instructions on how to connect on our website, unitynaples.org, and on our Facebook page. So here we go. Look at all these amazing opportunities. On Mondays at noon, meditation and prayer with Reverend Mark. In the evenings on Mondays, 7 p.m., you get a great choice, creativity time with Patrick or Course in Miracles with Reverend Mark and Bill Sadlow. On Tuesdays at noon, meditation and prayer with Dan. And at 7 p.m., the virtual hangout with fun, laughs, and games. Wednesdays, 11 a.m. book study, Discover the Power Within You with Reverend Eileen. At 7 p.m., meditation and prayer with Reverend Mark. And then at 8 o'clock with Reverend Mark, The Spiritual Way, our Wednesday night virtual service. Thursdays, noon, meditation and prayer with Dan. At 7 in the evening, a deep dive with Dan with meditation, prayer, and a rich conversation about spiritual principles. And on Fridays, meditation and prayer with Reverend Mark at noon. Join Reverend Mark for a Good Friday prayer and meditation service on the last 7 living words of Jesus this Friday, April 10th, from 1 to 3 p.m. That's via Facebook Live. And we want to see you. In celebration of the upcoming Easter holiday, we'd love to see photos that you'd like to share of Easter at Unity in the past. Or if you had a special Easter outfit already planned for this Easter, don't let it go. Post these on our Facebook page or email them to hello@unitynaples.org. And speaking of Easter, please join us for a special Easter service, April 12th at 10 a.m. here on our live streams via Facebook or YouTube. And invite your friends to check it out as well. This is a great time to build our virtual community. Send out a link to our Facebook page or YouTube channel, host a Facebook watch party during our live stream, or just let people know how they can get spiritually connected on this special day. And of course, if you're here with us for the first time, please know that whoever you are or wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. And now it's time for our meditation.
All right, thank you so much, Lisa. And now is the time for our meditation. So please join me in, if it's possible for you, if you're in a safe, comfortable place, join me in turning your hands facing upward. I like to do that on my lap, which represents an openness to receive. Also, if it's comfortable for you, lifting your chin up, looking up to the horizon, lifting our eyes up, lifts our consciousness up, and actually lifts our energy up at the same time. So please join me doing that, closing your eyes if it's comfortable for you. Taking some nice, slow, deep breaths, breathing in. And exhale. Feel the body relax, move the shoulders. And exhale. And a third time, breathing in. And exhale. And bringing your attention, floating it downward into the center of your chest. Even place your hand there like I am to locate the breath and feel the chest rising and falling with the breath. And imagine, as we do every week, that there's a big spiritual heart in back of the physical heart and the lungs, right in the center of your chest. Imagine it even looking like a Valentine heart, but this is the one heart, the Christ heart, the heart that all great healers, saints, and sages use. This is the heart that heals. And so imagine that flowering open and releasing a beautiful golden light. And this golden light begins to spread throughout your whole body temple, swirling and dancing around all the organs into every single cell from head to toe. And this represents the light of God. And this light is purifying, calming, and healing. This light fills the mind as we say to the mind, peace, be still. Relax the jaw, feel it drop down and back a little bit. And imagine this golden light spreading beyond your physical body, creating like a big egg around you. So you're sitting right in the middle of a big golden egg. And this represents the light of protection. This represents the light that purifies the emotional body, the energetic body. And this represents the light that you are, the eternal light of spirit. Join me in imagining this light now flowing from your heart out into the world, into every hospital, into every room where someone is sick today. Your love light knows where to go, and it travels immediately. So affirm, God is there. God is there. God is in the hospitals. God is in the doctors and the nurses, and all of those first responders. God is in the machinery and the medicine. God is in the orchestration of the help. God is in the love of the families. God is in the doctors and the scientists and the researchers who even now are downloading the healing. God is the love that we give so generously right now. God is the one life that connects us all and that we all are a part of. And so throughout our whole time together today, I know and affirm that our love is pouring from us into the world as a healing presence, as that which brings peace and that which supports the ending of this pandemic. God does not know disease, and we meet today in God. Please affirm within yourself, God is I am. God is my life. God is my protection. God is. Take a deep breath. Whew. This brings our meditation to a close. Open your eyes whenever you're ready. Of course, take your time as we welcome back Amy and Jesse.
you worry, oh, how you're weary from fearing you lost control. This was the one that didn't see coming, and no one would blame you though. If you cried in private, if you tried to hide it away, so no one knows, no one will see if you stop believing. Oh, my soul, you were not alone. There's a place where fear has to face the God you know. One more day, He will make a way. Let Him show you how you can lay this down. 'Cause you're not alone. Here and now, so you can be honest. Don't try to promise that someday it all works out. 'Cause this is the valley, and even now she is breathing on your dry bones. There will be dancing, there will be beauty where beauty was ash and stone. This much I know. Oh, my soul, you were not alone. There's a place where fear has to face the God you know. One more day, she will make a way. Let her show you how you can lay this down. I'm not strong enough, I can't take anymore.
You can lay it down, you can lay it down.
And my shipwreck faith never can be so.
You can lay it down, you can lay it down.
Can He find me here? Can He keep me from going under? Oh, my soul, you are not alone. There's a place where fear has to face the God you know. One more day, He will make a way. Let Him show you how you can lay this down. 'Cause you're not alone. Oh, my soul, you're not alone.
Both of you. Go. Thank you. Music, and that song is very, very meaningful for today, for all of us. Take a deep breath. I don't know how you guys are doing, but I have right in the center of me just this cry. This my energy is a little heightened, and it's just something that we're all moving through that we never had before. So I'm just glad to be with you, and I'm glad to do what we do. But please know that we are here for you throughout the week. We're going to be creating opportunities for you to call in for prayer, lots of opportunities to meditate together. We're going to be adding more things so that you know that we are here for you, because we are, and we have to be together during this time. So I want to tell a story today to you about the Passover. Happy Passover to our Jewish brothers and sisters. It is a fantastic it's a fantastic story when metaphysically interpreted. It becomes the story of our personal lives. And today it is absolutely the collective story of what we're going through. So you may know it, but let me do a little bit of a summary for you. Moses is a Jew, but he doesn't know it because he was sent down the river as a little boy and raised by Pharaoh's family. And he's out now as an adult working as a shepherd in the field, and he's visited by God. The Israelites are held captive in Egypt under Pharaoh for many generations, and they're being abused. They're being absolutely treated horribly, like slaves. And so God appears to Moses and tells Moses to go to Pharaoh and tell Pharaoh to set his people free. Now, Moses is like, that ain't gonna happen. I'm not the guy to send that. Can you relate to that? Can you relate to feeling a call, getting some inspiration, a divine idea, a way to make a difference, and then immediately another voice inside you says, I can't do that. Who do you think you are? I don't have the talent. We immediately, very often, pretty immediately say no to the call. Well, that's what Moses did. But God remained and said, you must do this. And so Moses says, even at one point in the story, Moses says, send my brother Aaron. He's a good speaker. I don't even speak well. He's just really trying to get out of this. And finally, Moses says to God, and this is a key point in the story. Moses says to God, well, who the heck am I going to say is calling me? Who's sending me to do this? And the response is, say that I am that I am. I am that I am. What a confusing answer, right? I'll get to that in a minute. So anyway, Moses does go to Pharaoh, and he's told, by the way, by God, that Pharaoh's going to say no, that it's not going to happen. And in fact, it says in the story, which is really interesting, that God is going to harden Pharaoh's heart, which is another confusing part of the story. I'll get back to that. So Moses goes, and as the story goes, of course, Pharaoh says no, and then these plagues begin, the 10 plagues, each one getting worse and building and building and building until finally Pharaoh is broken down. And finally, after the 10th plague, Pharaoh says, fine, go, get out of here. And actually, the 10th plague is the Passover. That is where all the firstborn are going to be killed. So he says, Pharaoh says, get out of here, go. So all of the Israelites are going with Moses. And as the story goes, they get to the Red Sea. Now, Pharaoh once again changes his mind. And so he releases his army to chase them. Now, these slaves have been working hard for Pharaoh. They've been making his whole kingdom work. Now he's going to lose all of that. So he's got an investment here. He's chasing them down. And Moses sticks the what do you call that? the long stick. I can't think of what it's called in this moment. Sticks it in the sea. The sea parts, and the Israelites go through the Red Sea, the parting of the Red Sea, to the other side. And as the story goes, the sea closes behind them. And they are now on the other side, free people in the wilderness, starting over from nothing. So let's go back and explore this story up to this point. Metaphysically, every Bible story represents aspects of ourselves. So it's our individual story and a collective story, as I mentioned earlier. So Moses represents drawing out. Drawing out. That is the spiritual aspect inside of you that remains inside of you and comes alive when it's time to draw you out. Draw you out of what? Bondage to your limited beliefs. Draw you out of living in the idea that you are this body, that you are this material world. Drawing you out of worshiping false gods, which is really the things of this world. You know what it's like to be stuck, to feel limited, to know there's a greater life inside of you, and yet you're enslaved to the race beliefs, to the beliefs of your family, to your fears. You're enslaved to, I can't do this. What if I fail? Whatever it is, these become our Pharaoh, and they keep us trapped. So Moses comes alive inside of us to draw us out of bondage within ourselves. Now, what is the authority upon which he goes into Egypt to draw us out? As I said in the story, God says, I am that I am. This is one of the most mystical, empowering statements in the Bible. People have written books upon books about it. If we add a comma, I am that, comma, I am. It talks about the power of the I am presence. I am represents the Christ light inside of you. I am is the access point to the pure power of God that you are. That which created all of the universe, that universe upon universes upon universes, that which creates galaxies upon galaxies, the living life that will never die. The name of that is I am. And it becomes whatever you direct it to be. I am unworthy. It will flow in that direction. I am the light and the power of God. It will flow in that direction. I am afraid. It will flow in that direction. I am surrendered and a channel for God's love. It will flow in that direction. It is the authority of being. It is the authority within each and every one of us. And it is the authority that within us that rises up to set ourselves free inside of us. I am that love of God. I am. I am that hope of God. I am. I am that healing power of God. I am. I am the voice and the power that sets everything free. I am. So God activated inside of Moses the authority to name freedom. And that's what is inside of you and me today. And during this Passover season, coming up on Easter next week, we lean into the Moses consciousness within you and me to draw us out of every disease, discord, dissatisfaction, struggle, and strife. It is not of God. And the invitation in this Passover season is to become free of that. Now it's interesting in the story because it says that God tells Moses that he's going to harden Pharaoh's heart. This is my own interpretation of it, and I actually think it's pretty cool. But here's the idea. And I use the analogy of a rocket taking off and going out of the atmosphere. The rocket needs a lot of propulsive energy to shoot itself out of our atmosphere, to get outside of the gravitational pull. In fact, I could be off on the percentages, but what I've heard and understood is that the rocket basically uses 90% of its fuel and its power just to get out of the gravitational pull. That's a lot of energy. Inside of us, very often, our first insight doesn't have enough energy in it to release us from these patterns that have a gravitational pull. These thoughts that bind us and keep us imprisoned, they have a gravitational pull to them. And they've been holding us down, some for a very long time, some are not just holding you down, but your family and generations of your family. So there's a lot of gravity pulling you down. So a mere thought of, I want to be free of this now, is not enough to pull you out of the gravitational pull of some of these patterns. So what do we need to break free from the patterns? We need to build energy and build energy and build energy. And very often it looks like things are getting worse. And it is. You know, I use the analogy of if anyone's a 12-stepper, which I know a lot of you are, you knew, you know, let's use the example of alcoholism. You knew that there was a drinking problem way back when. You knew it a long time ago. You had a thought, I'm overdoing this. This is not working for me. But that wasn't enough to change the pattern. It had to get worse, didn't it? Some people had to lose their jobs and lose their families and lose their homes and lose everything until finally something cracked open and they were able to turn their attention to recovery. They were able to say, I can't, but God can. They were able to surrender. But it took the building up of the hardening of the heart, if you will, to finally have enough suffering to break through. Now, I don't believe that God calls us to suffer. I believe that God is the solution in us at every single time. However, life will keep turning it tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter because freedom is the nature of your being. And if you're not moving towards freedom, then whatever is being pulled into bondage must eventually get so tight that it breaks through. To me, that's what the plagues represent. They represent a building of enough energy that finally let my people go, and they released the Israelites. Pharaoh finally broke. And there was enough power at that point to become free. That's what happens inside of us. Now, as we awaken spiritually, we don't need as much suffering. That's the gift of awakening. When you awaken spiritually and you hear the first call from Spirit, you can attach your faith to that. You can build your meditation and your prayers and your energy around that. And you don't need to bottom out over and over and over just to get out. You don't, that's a good phrase. You don't have to bottom out just to get out. But we do. And sometime in our life and at different levels of consciousness, we just do. And that's totally acceptable. That's what the story tells us is happening when it comes time for them to become free. Now, the parting of the Red Sea is a really, really cool time in the story too, because the Red Sea represents the belief in life separate from God. The parting of the Red Sea represents the belief in two powers: good, bad, God, devil. A lot of people are believing in those two powers right now. And when things like pandemics come into our world, when literally a tsunami of something is sweeping through, the mind goes back to the survival mode and it feels like there is a power against us. So the story, it's relevant. That belief has got to open up and get out of the way so that we can get through to the other side, to a new land. It's phenomenal, isn't it? And that's where you may be finding yourself right now, in this fear, in this enormous uncertainty in our world today. Two powers. What's had the good and the bad, and some political systems are choosing this, and that doesn't make sense, and there's not enough of this, and that doesn't make sense, and it's like it's so easy to divide and try to find someone to point a finger at, someone to blame, someone to be held accountable for this. But as spiritual beings, as spiritual warriors, which is really what the world needs now, we've got to rise up to the call that is inside this story. And the call is to move through and to the other side of believing yourself separate from God. That alone is absolutely amazing. I want to go back one step, part of the story, again to the actual Passover. So the Passover part in the story says that there's going to be this sweeping through, and the firstborn of every family is going to be sacrificed, the firstborn male. But the Jews were told to put red blood on their door. And if that was on the door, then it would pass over and their firstborn would not be taken. Oh, there's so much in this, you guys. There are times inside of us when our consciousness must be swept clean. We must start over. There's a lot being wiped out of our consciousness in our collective consciousness now. Our humanity holds agreements of suffering that do not work. We will not survive as a species if we do not move to a higher consciousness of cooperation. And until we do, we will continue to suffer these enormous challenges, and they will take their toll. Not making anyone right or wrong, it's just time to wake up. It's time to wake up. But back to the part for you. The firstborn is the initial inception of your being from God that will never be destroyed. That's what that represents. It's not that all the other ones are bad or wrong as it's all being wiped out, but all of the thoughts that aren't of God, all the separating thoughts, the armies inside of you of fear, that's what gets wiped out. But what remains is the initial I am presence, the Christ light, the Son, the daughter of God. That is forever eternal and will never be destroyed. Cool, isn't it? Not easy, but it's cool too. We've got to anchor ourselves inside of that. So I'm covering a lot of information, but the next part of the story is awesome, really awesome too. So I'm paying attention to my time. So now they're in the wilderness. They're in a whole new land. But here's the deal. The Israelites don't know how to be free. They don't know. They only know how to be slaves. So in the story, it is said that they're probably happy for a moment. Yay, we're free. Yay, we're free. But then they start to murmur, complain. They start to romanticize. Well, yeah, I'm not a slave over here, but at least back there I was fed and I had a bed to sleep on. We start to romanticize our past. When we spiritually evolve to a new way of being, we don't yet know all the rules of that higher consciousness. We must start over. It's like our school system. You're in junior high, you get to 8th grade, you're the big man on campus. You go to high school first day, you're starting over. Day 1, 9th grade, all the way through to your senior year, you're a big person on campus. If you go to college, you start college, you're starting over again. You're at the beginning, and it's learning the laws of the land. Well, that's what happened to the Israelites. They have this whole new land of freedom. They don't know how to organize. They don't know who they're supposed to be. And as the story goes, Moses, the consciousness of the I am presence, the leader inside of us, goes up to the mountain to get away from the noise, to get away from the fear, and to commune with God. And it is there where he receives the 10 Commandments, which represents the laws, the collective agreements of how to be together in this new land. And I could do a whole metaphysical interpretation on every one of them. It's absolutely brilliant. I just want to point out the first one. The first commandment says, Exodus 22, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, bondage, out of the house of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. God is that I am, and you are that I am. And you make your own destiny and your own fate by the things you attach to it. Do not put other gods before this power. Do not attach negative thoughts, limiting ideas about yourself, because that becomes your God. And that's the whole message. It's not this external God going, hey, I'm number one and I'm the king. And if you don't put me first, I'm going to destroy you. That's so archaic and wrong. It's not that. It's direction that says once you know the truth of your being and the power that you have and the ability, now that you're awake, to steer it in the right directions, pay attention. Don't put other gods before your power. Don't attach to your I am false ideas. So the people were in the wilderness, it is said, for 40 years. 40 years represents completion. It just represents until they evolved to the new consciousness when they were ready to go into the promised land. Kind of like the in-between time where the new consciousness is being formed. We individually and collectively are being invited to rise up to a new consciousness. We do not know who we're going to be on the other side of this pandemic. None of us knows. So who we're being now, how we're behaving in our time of wilderness is so important. We have got to take greater responsibility. I keep saying this. Patrick doesn't like when I say it. He thinks it's kind of aggressive, but I just feel it's like no more time for 1 foot in, 1 foot out people. This is not a come to service on Sunday, hang out for an hour, oh, isn't that great, and then go off and live another way. I am so not interested in that. And the world does not need that. We ourselves have gotten this amazing teaching of unity principles, new thought principles, truth principles. And we have said yes to them. And now we must dedicate our lives to living them. It is no longer optional. We can't. We must be the vessels for God's love in this world. And I hope that you will be one of those with me, because I'm in. I am all in. So that's the metaphysical interpretation of the Passover. Happy Passover to you. Please take this time to pay attention to getting let's walk. We're going to walk in prayer to the other side of the Red Sea. We're giving up duality. We're giving up the belief in separation from God. And next Sunday, Easter Sunday, we are rising up into the explosion of the Christ light that we are. That's what next week's about. But today, let's move into prayer. I'm going to invite Amy and Jesse back to play some music and get us breathing. So join me in taking some nice deep breaths as they sing for us.
When you're broken down and tired of living life like a merry-go-round, and you can't find the fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Ooh, mountains, gonna walk it out. Ooh, mountains, I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. I'll rise up, high like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the age. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. Oh, with you, with you, with you, with you.
And I take this deep breath as I know that God is the one life, the one power, the I am that I am, a living force that is forever pure and perfect. It is the source of all life. It judges nothing. It looks like enormous multiplicity, but it never divides. It is the one love, the one power, and it will always draw us into freedom. It will never be contained forever. So this is the moment that I speak this prayer, that all constructs that have been holding God down are dissolved and eliminated. All constructs within ourselves, every agreement that we have made to an organization, to a belief system, to something that is making anybody else less than or outside of our love, those constructs, Holy Spirit, dissolve them now. Set us free. Release us from the bondage of the lies that have been consuming and holding us for so many generations. This is the season of Passover, and the one powerful thought of God, I am that I am, is what moves us now to the other side. I ask with all my being, Holy Spirit, dissolve within us the belief in separation from God. Once and for all, Holy Spirit, lift us up to be the spiritual way showers of how love heals. Holy Spirit, lift us up. Use our voice, use our hearts, use our hands. Do not let us falter into negativity, into using our words against anyone. Holy Spirit, we need your support to lift us up out of these broken patterns. This is our Passover, every one of us. And we ask that the Holy Spirit lift us up and out over the divide and plant us into a brand new consciousness. A consciousness where higher laws are activated. A consciousness where love is the power that we use daily. A consciousness that knows no dis-ease, discord, or division whatsoever. A consciousness that when it sees it in the world, takes responsibility for it and dissolves it within ourselves over and over and over. Holy Spirit, I invite you to drop into our subconscious mind and to sweep the floor clean, every corner of the cobwebs of fear and lies and false beliefs. Open us up wide that we may be the instruments of your peace, of your love, of your healing power. I am that. I am. Please repeat after me. I am the love of God. I am the healing presence of God. I am sourced by God only. And I am willing to be used by God. Take a deep breath. I give thanks. I give so much gratitude for the fulfillment of this prayer. I know that it is done. I truly do. And so it is. Amen.
I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, rise unafraid. I'll rise up, I'll do it 1,000 times again. I'll rise up,
Thank you so much, Amy and Jesse. I just love you guys. Thank you for bringing the healing power through your music. I know every one of us listening is beyond honored and just humbled. I mean, God works in the most beautiful ways, you know, bringing the right people together at the right times. We don't orchestrate this. And it's one of the things that I remain forever grateful for is that I get to do ministry with these amazing musicians. So
Aw,
thank
Feelings
you.
very
you.
mutual.
And now I turn to you who are watching this either now or later on, watching in later, to welcome and ask for your contribution to Unity Naples. We, like all organizations, are keeping ourselves rolling. In fact, in a lot of ways, we're working harder than ever before, learning new platforms. We're just working round the clock to we're pushed into a whole new mode of delivery, and we're meeting it. We are, and we'd love your support to help us keep doing this. So I ask you to give from your heart, whatever is inside of you, be it $1, whatever it is. Your gift makes such a big difference. And so I say with me if you can, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. Your gifts are blessed. Thank you so much. I'm going to pass back to Lisa so that she can share with you in detail ways that you can contribute today.
Ways. Thank you, Reverend Mark. There are 2 ways for you to give. First, you can give through our website at unitynaples.org/giving. There you'll find a Donate Now button. And we also have an option to give through text. Send the word GIVE to 239-230-4704. That's 239-230-4704. If this is your first time giving, via text, you'll receive a link with instructions on how to do that. But if you've given before you text, then you can simply text a dollar amount to that number. And third, you can always mail a check to Unity Naples at 2000 Unity Way, Naples, Florida, 34112. Thank you.
Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright, alright. See, don't worry about a thing, oh no, no. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile at the rising sun. 3 little birds perched on my doorstep, singing sweet songs, melody pure and true. Oh, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing, oh no. Every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, oh no, no. Every little thing is gonna be alright. Every little thing is gonna be alright.
love, 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 love. Nothing you can make can't be made. There's nothing you can say that can't be said. Nothing you can do to learn how to be you inside. It's easy. Oh. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love, love is all you need. All you need is love. 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 Love, love is all you need. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, they say, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I see trees of green, clouds of white, bright blessed day, oh, a dark secret night. Oh, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Thank you so much, Amy and Jesse. And thank you so much for your contributions. I take this moment to speak a blessing over the gifts that have been given, knowing together that God is our source. During this hard time, the whole world may contract. God is our source. And I invite every one of us to beat that drum all week long, the only thing we focus on. And as we do, I know that miracles will abound within and all around us. God is our source, and these gifts are blessed in this knowing. And so it is. Amen. Thank you so much. Back to Lisa.
Gosh, we've got so many people watching today. It's so great. Thank you all for your inspiring comments on Facebook during our service. You truly are spiritual warriors always, and especially during this really unprecedented time. So to each of you, please know this. We are here for you. We want to stay connected with you, and we ask for your help in doing this. First, please be sure to like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Unity of Naples. Please go to our page often to receive the latest updates, read about our virtual offerings, watch inspirational videos, and connect with our amazing community. Second, make sure we have your email. That's very, very important right now. In the comments section of this live video, we'll post a link that will take you to a page where you can put your name, email, and contact information. You can also go to our website at unitynaples.org, where you'll find a place to add your email right at the top of our homepage. Please do this today so you don't miss a thing. If you are affected by this current health crisis and need support, or you'd simply like somebody to pray with you, please call our office and leave your name and number. We'll do our best to call you back within 24 hours. Our office number is 239-775-3009. Again, that's 775-3009. You can leave your name and number there. And again, we'll try to call you back within 24 hours. For immediate prayer, please call the Silent Unity Prayer Hotline. It's available 24/7 at 1-800-NOW-PRAY. That's 1-800-669-7729.
Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us this morning. I trust that you were spiritually fed. Thank you again for your contributions. And please do me a favor. Will you please put in thank that's working so hard, meeting more often now, just to support you and to rise up to meet the whatever's needed and wanted today to the best of their ability. So I honor them deeply too. And we bring our service together to a close saying, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Peace and blessings. See you next Sunday for an amazing Easter celebration service. Thank you again, everybody. Thank you, Lisa, for your wonderful sacred service today. And thank you so much, Jesse and Amy. Love all of you. Have a wonderful, safe day. Peace and love, everybody.
Bye.